All right, here we go, day 25. Well, I did my meditation. Today I feel a little bit more energized, definitely better than yesterday. And during my meditation, I started to think about self-doubt. Like sometimes we let the outside world, sometimes we let our negative experiences, what we've been through, what other people have said to us, what society has said to us. At least I have. Like we've all had those thoughts in our heads of whether we can do something, what's going to happen if we do something, what are people going to think, are people going to judge me, are people going to like me, are people going to hate me, are people going to like what I have to say, are they going to agree with me? Like there's all those thoughts, and then we kind of let them stop us from being us because society puts us in groups and it feels like we have to fit into a group. And sometimes I know, at least earlier in my life, I had those things of just trying to impress people, like finding ways to make people laugh, finding ways to, behave in ways that might uh, get people to like me because I was a people pleaser. And I wouldn't get in the middle of anything. I avoided conflict at all cost. I still do at times, but I'm getting better at standing up to it and just being that. And those are the things that we need to do to improve ourselves is look at the things and areas that we need to get better at. I mean, you should strive to be the best at what your strengths are too, but I mean, I guess we still have to get a little bit better at our weaknesses. Maybe not focus on those all the time, but at least look at them and see where areas of improvement when you need to become a complete person because conflict's part of life. I used to like avoid it like the plague, and it's just part of life. You're not always going to agree. And sometimes when you don't agree with somebody, having that conflict, having that little interaction with them might get them to see something in a different way, and it might get you to see something in a different way. But if you avoid those conflicts, you avoid those things because of all the self-doubt, are people going to like me? Then you're never going to get that growth. So sometimes you're missing opportunities for growth because sometimes in conflict comes growth. And I mean, obviously, you don't want to go too far into the conflict and start a war or anything, but you know, with yourself or with someone else, at least personally. I don't know about all the other stuff, but we'll leave that out. But anyway, so for me, like I always let just other people's opinions of me or other things people said stop me from, and it made me doubt myself. So what I'm saying is that don't let the outside world, if you got a vision, you got something in your heart, you got something in your soul that you want to do, don't let the outside world stop you or the people in the outside world. There's always going to be someone that doesn't agree with you. I always say it and I'll say it again and again because sometimes that repetition needs to be said. There's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be obstacles that we're going to have to go around. And again, if you're not there yet, that's okay. For me, this is trying to show everybody where to start. In the beginning, a few years ago, I wasn't doing this. A couple years, and before the pandemic, I wasn't doing a whole lot of anything. And it was the pandemic that kind of got me to like start listening to Tony Robbins and Dean and like all these people that have been through the same thing I have. It's just that they're way further along than I was. But they had to start in the same spot. You got to start with where you're at. And if you already got self doubts like I did, I mean, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to become aware of it. That's what they are. You can always change that self doubt into self belief because and again, don't let the circumstances around you make you choose whether you believe in yourself or not. Just because someone says they don't think that you can do something, do it anyway. I sometimes use rejection as fuel. Like, hey, you tell me I can't do it, I'll show you. You challenge me to do 30 videos in 30 days, I'll do it. Would I have done that myself? Maybe not. And that's the thing I got to get better at, self-challenging myself. Because you got to have some sort of like goal or purpose or just reasons why you want to get something done. And that's another thing too, is like there's a thing called 7 level steep, and You keep asking yourself, why do you want to do something? And then why do you want to do that? And why do you want to do that? And like when you keep asking yourself that question and write down the answers, by the time you get to the seventh, it's almost like it hits your heart. Now, again, it took me a couple times to do that exercise before I finally got there. But then it's like, you want, like for Dean, he wanted to be in control of his life because he didn't feel like he was in control. At least that was part of it. I don't remember if that was the whole thing, but that's where I want to be. I've never felt like I was in control of my life. I've always been doing what everybody else says, what my bosses have said, and I want to get to the point, and I'm trying to get to the point now where I'm just being me. This is me, and I'm going to be me and see where it goes. And that's the thing too with self-doubt, that you just got to do something and see what happens. I mean, we're all afraid of something. I still am. I'm not over fear. I don't even know if fear ever goes away, because I think it's just like Tony says, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's being fearful and doing it anyway. It's having all those fears, like I said, of what other people are going to think. Self-judgment made me doubt myself until I said, you know what, I'm just going to do it anyway. But it took years for me to get to that point. But I'm saying if I did, anybody can. It's just that you got to do it. I mean, I know it's hard, and it's definitely not easy, and it hasn't been in my life either, because I still feel criticism. I still feel that doubt, but I don't feel it as much as I did before. And the more I do this, the more I'm getting comfortable with it. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I just come up with an idea, and then just stuff flows to me. But I center myself in this chair, and then I just start talking and see where it goes. But if I didn't sit in this chair and I didn't do all this stuff on the outside here that made me grow into the human being I'm becoming and I'm getting better at, then I wouldn't be sitting here doing this. And the more I do it, the better you get at it. With anything in life, you might not be good when you first start, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You just got to start. Like Dean always says, take that leap and grow wings on the way down. Learn how to do it as you go. But if you sit there and think you're going to know how to do everything before you start, that's not how it works. You got to start and then take it day by day and step by step and see what happens and then adjust. And if try new things, do something you're uncomfortable with. The only way you get comfortable with being uncomfortable is being uncomfortable and doing it anyway. And again, and I'm not perfect. No one is, but I'm trying to get better at, or I am getting better at doing it anyway and seeing what comes out of it. And then if you get rejected or something doesn't work out, that's all right too. Just don't let that get to you. Get up and do something different, and do something different until something will work out eventually if you keep going. Think about that. God, it's KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. That guy was turned down thousands of times, hundreds of times. There was who was it? Thomas Edison. I keep hearing people talk about this. He tried 1,000 times before he did it, and they're like, he failed 1,000 times. He's like, no, I just found 1,000 ways that didn't work until I found the way that did. But he didn't give up. That's the thing. Is just because you're down and just because you're may not think you're where you need to be, doesn't mean you can't get where you want to go. It just means you got to start where you're at here and look for the little stuff. Look for the things you can do. I used to always say I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. Well, you know what? I defined that and then I didn't do anything. You have to at least start to think that it's possible. And it is. Anything's possible. I mean, yeah, I'm almost 50. I'm not going to be able to play professional football, but I can sit down here and learn how to get better at doing videos. I can sit down here and do some research, do some meditations, and learn how to do something different. I'm talking about we can learn mostly to do anything. Yeah, I'm not going to be a surgeon either. My hands are a little too jittery. I don't know if I could do that. So I commend those people that do that stuff, but that's just not me. But I can get on here and do this, and so can everybody else. Someone's done what you want to do. There's nothing wrong with following other people and looking up to them and having them help you get you where you want to go. It's like Tony and Dean tell us, use our stuff. Everything we teach you, you can use it. Just say it in a different way and give us credit, and then eventually you'll figure it out, and then your own stuff will start coming to you. Tony Robbins he started working with Jim Rohn. He taught Jim Rohn stuff until he developed his own. Dean the same way. He used Tony's stuff until he developed his own. I'm taking all of them. A lot of people do. You know, so sometimes your audience, your people you need to influence or inspire or motivate or whatever, help, have impact on, they need to hear it from you. And if you're not, like they tell us, if I'm not out here trying to help people, well, then maybe that person that needs to hear what I'm saying in these videos won't find me if I don't do these videos. And that's the thing is that's why I started doing it, because maybe there's someone out there that's in the same spot I was 3 years ago, and they're like, oh my God, you know, I was there too, so was he, and now he's where I want to go, or at least on his way to where I want to go, or better than I was 3 years ago. I remember seeing it, and people were telling me the same thing, like I was where you were at, and when you're where I was, you're like, I don't know, I don't know. Well, I'm here to tell you, just keep going, and you'll figure it out too, because it's just the starting, it's just the process. And as long as you're willing and realize, don't give up when you're having those setbacks, because there are part of setbacks, it's just part of life, man. And sometimes something might not work out for you. That's fine too. Then you got to try something else. Just like, some of my videos aren't getting viewed as much. So when this challenge is over, I got to go back and do some research and find out which videos are good and which ones where I got to improve on. It's all about research and looking and being okay with where you're at, and then go from where you're at to where you want to go. Keep moving in that direction. But you got to at least have some aiming points, and focus on what you're good at. I remember in Toastmasters, they kept telling us to like do different speeches, and then someone's like, well, you should talk about something that you don't know a lot about. I was like, why would I want to do that? I'm here to, this is the stuff that I know. And now I'm getting over the fear of speaking and teaching people and talking to people about it and letting this out of me. I used to hide all this stuff. I can't hide it anymore. This is who I am, and that's okay. It's just who I am. And you can't, and at Toastmasters, all I wanted to do was get more comfortable speaking in front of people. And if that means I need to know the material that I'm teaching and I'm talking about, well, then that's okay. It's like structure is good to have, but you also got to learn how to improvise in the moment. Like come in with structure, everybody's like, do this, do this, do this, do this. Yes, that's fine. We all need structure. We all need parameters and what to do. But then you also got to like improvise in that moment. Like when the quarterback throws off his back foot, oh, you can't do that, it's bad mechanics. Yeah, but sometimes it's the only way to get the ball where it needs to go. And some of these people are good at it. I'll sit there in softball, and if I'm moving, I'll throw across my body, and they're like, what are you doing? I was like, it just feels natural once you learn how to do it and you do it enough. And sometimes there's no way to, set your feet. Sometimes you got to improvise. I mean, the goal is to have structure, but then you improvise as you go along. The goal is to do all this stuff every day with the journaling, the meditations. You can even put affirmations in there, set goals, and acknowledge your feelings. And that's the thing too, is don't hold your feelings in. If you don't want to express them to people and you don't want people to know how you're feeling, at least write it down in a journal. Because sometimes when you get those feelings, we all have feelings. We can't, and we try to like say we only want to have good ones. No, there's good and bad. But you got to learn how to let the bad ones feel the bad ones and let them go. Let them flow. And if they're feeling bad, write them down, get them out. And that's part of helping them flow out. And I need to start doing this again too, because I haven't been doing it the last few months. And when I was doing it, I started feeling a hell of a lot better. So it works. But that's the thing is that, sometimes we got to have that bad feelings and know my actions weren't good and now I don't feel good. So then maybe I need to change my actions. Maybe I need to treat people better. Maybe I need to apologize. Maybe I need to work on myself. There's all kinds of things, ways to let all these feelings out. So, yeah, I kind of went off on a tangent there. That was unexpected. But yeah, you just got to let things flow through you and flow out of you. When you hold on to things, everybody makes mistakes in the world. being mad at someone forever, everybody makes mistakes. I mean, forgive them for you. It doesn't mean you have to like them, but forgive them for you. Because again, like Wayne Dyer used to always say, if you want to seek revenge, you better start by digging two graves because you're gonna hurt them and yourself. You know, life happens, shit happens. We're not all perfect, and but you know what? We can all be better, and we can all try to let go of self doubt, let go of these things that are stopping us, because inside of us we all have that spirit, we all have that soul, we all have that energy, but maybe it's sitting there dormant. So I'm hoping maybe that I can help someone, even if it's just one person, realize that they are stronger than they believe on the inside, just like I'm beginning to believe. It's worth it. But I mean, my goal is to help more, but at least one I'll be happy with. So again, I want to get this channel going. I want to get more people to see this information because I believe it in my soul and in my heart that we're at that time in evolution that we gotta learn to let all that stuff go and live from within and live from the heart and live with the soul, live with passion. And we can all do it but you just got to start somewhere. So I'm hoping maybe at some point this will be the starting point for some of you. And I appreciate you all watching. Like and subscribe if you do it. Comment but down below. Any questions, anything you want me to talk about, just write it down. Comment it. I'll look at it. Because, like I said, I've started and I ain't stopping. So you all have a good day. Bye.